One of the biggest challenges that we currently have, particularly in the retail industry, is the concept of multi-channel retail and also omni-channel retail. And I'm really pleased to have John Lockton, who's Managing Director of LCP Consulting. LCP Consulting have worked with a number of large retailers sort of addressing these sorts of issues. So John, welcome to Cranfield.
Thank you, Richard.
And really the first thing is what is the difference between omni-channel and multi-channel? There's a lot of talk about this, but can you define it for us?
Well, we've done a recent survey to see what how the retailers thought the two and how they were different. And I think the key point that came out that multi-channel is about allowing them to interact with you and I as shoppers, whether we do it through the store or through our phones or through our computers, but it's not integrated. So they deal with us in different ways through different operating channels, depending on how we go and buy with them. Omnichannel is where that's all integrated, so that when you and I work with them or go and shop to them, that actually the experience we have is the same, it's unified, we can always see that we're dealing with the same retailer and they're giving the same service. Within the retailer, that's all very much integrated as a single operation. I think that's the difference. It's this idea of something being totally integrated and giving a single view, a single service level from that retailer. That seems to be the difference.
So really what's happening is we've moved away from a retailer saying we're going to have an e-commerce channel that we manage our supply chain through, and we're going to have a channel to our bricks and mortar, and we'll keep them completely separate. And now what's actually happening is we're having to merge these into a single omni-channel to enable the businesses to be able to compete appropriately.
I think that's a really good way of seeing it. And I think if you look at a number of the retailers that you'd see as being nearer the omni side of things, they've all come from that multi-separation and realising that as the internet route has had to grow and develop, that they've seen that they've had to integrate it to really make their service to you and I and the way they operate more efficient. So that's exactly what we're finding.
So when we sort of start to think then, what are some of the challenges then for these businesses which have been doing business in the same way for many, many years, and now in the last, well, really 4 or 5 years, they've been hit with this big change in the marketplace?
Yeah, again, the survey was very interesting actually. It came out with two major areas that they saw as being the challenge. The first one was to do with brand, was to do with maintaining the brand and providing the service to support that brand, irrespective of how you and I and everybody else wants to shop with them. That was the number one. How do we deal with that? How can we provide that? The second big challenge was what we call their operating model. So this is to do with how the business operation as a whole is now structured so it can efficiently and effectively supply things that we buy, whether we go into a store, whether we want it delivered to our homes, whether we want it delivered to our business premises if we're allowed to, or whether it's delivered to a friend's house where we happen to be going that evening for. So those two things, how do we get our brand, how do we maintain our brand, and how do we work in a new way that is efficient and effective when we're all asking things to be done in a different way. So those were the two major challenges that they came back to us with.
And I suppose really addressing those, I mean, what would your recommendation? I mean, it's a big issue, but where should a retailer start in actually addressing these issues?
I think it starts at the top. The survey and the discussions that we have and the people that we talk to say that actually businesses can evolve along the multi-channel route by a series of changes and interventions in the business, and businesses are doing that now. To go into a truly omni-channel world requires the senior team, particularly the CEO and the board functions, to have a clear picture and vision for how the business needs to operate in the future. And I think this having a clear picture across all the functions. You and I know that businesses traditionally work in silos, and the more advanced businesses break those silos down. But in an omni world, they've really got to make sure that the different functions are working together in a single way of operating. And that's come, to me, dealing with that first, getting a clear view from across the functions of what it means, is truly vital. It was interesting talking to one of the major retailers that they said, we did that first. We went on a journey together. Where we've ended up is not where we thought we were, but we've gone together. The second thing is we spent a lot of time communicating to our staff that we were now operating in that way, so that every interaction our customers had with our business, it had the same message about we were supplying them through different ways in the future. So that to me is where you start.
So really, in summary, it's all about getting board level leadership at this,
Yes.
and making sure the board has a clear vision and they can lead through this. It's a massive cross-business change to be able to build this new operating model.
To move truly to an omni-channel, or even on the journey to omni-channel, I totally agree, really important.
John Lockton, thank you very much indeed.
It's a pleasure, thank you, Richard.